The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has suspended its planned nationwide protest against the 50% increase in telecom tariffs recently approved by the federal government. The decision followed a crucial meeting on Monday between the Labour Union and government representatives at the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in Abuja. After the meeting, NLC President Joe Ajaero told journalists that the government had agreed to establish a larger committee to review the entire telecom tariff structure. The committee, comprising 5 representatives from both sides, is expected to submit its findings within 2 weeks. Joe Ajaero noted that the union's next course of action, whether protests, boycotts, or service withdrawals, will depend on the committee's final report. And now to the energy sector. The announcement of the reduction of ex-depot price of petrol from 950 naira to 890 naira per liter is expected to have some impact on the cost of transportation and the general price of petrol. This announcement was made on Saturday, February 1st. However, this reduction seemed to have not reflected at the various fuel stations. Nigeria has generated over $831.14 billion in revenue from the oil and gas sector between 1999 and 2003. The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative gave the statistics on Monday. Now, the executive secretary for the agency, Ogbonnaya Orji, who gave the information when he appeared before the Senate's Committee on Public Accounts, also stated that the country requires $20 billion annually for the next 10 years to develop its gas infrastructure. The committee, chaired by Senator Ahmed Wadada, was receiving briefings on the findings of NEITI's 16 cycle reports covering 78 firms in the extractive industry. He, however, noted that crude oil theft over the years has cost the country an estimated 701.48 million barrels since 2009, when the agency began tracking losses. Nigeria's Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy says that the federal government is working to generate an additional $100 billion to the nation's gross domestic product via the nation's creative sector. The minister, while speaking to newsmen after the recent Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, says that the government also aims to create 2 million jobs via the sector. And this will be through the development of innovative infrastructure and financing approaches, which will create an infrastructural foundation for the creative and tourism sectors.
We all do know that at the moment, everybody talks about creativity being in Nigeria. There's a lot of interest in Nigeria, not because of anything, but because of our content and because of our creativity. And Mr. President was very, very intentional in trying to diversify his government by making sure that we build on the creative industry and in innovation. So we have now engaged with development partners and stakeholders all over the world in this discussion to develop innovative infrastructure development and financing approaches. So the real key objectives of this CTIC is to provide the infrastructural foundation that is needed for the creative industry and for the tourism industry, and to generate at least $100 billion to the increase of the GDP and at least 2 million jobs, specifically for a younger demographic.
And welcome back. The announcement of the reduction of ex-depot price of petrol from 950 naira to 890 naira per liter is expected to have some impact on the cost of transportation and also the general price of petrol. But since the announcement made on Saturday, February 1st, this reduction seemed to not have been reflected at various fuel stations. Joining us now is our correspondent Adebola Adedugba, who would give us a live update as she's on standby. Adebola, well done. Tell us, where are you at the moment and what's the update on pump price?
Well, I'm live here at the filling station at Ojota precisely, and following conversation with some motorists, they told me that so far they have been purchasing the pump price at 970 naira per litre, and not the one announced by Dangote Refinery, which is reduction in the ex-depot price of PMS from 950 to 890 naira. I'm also here with the Assistant General Manager of the station to speak to us on why this price or reduction in prices has not been reflected so far in their pump price. Good afternoon. Why has there not been a reduction so far in pump price of PMS following the announcement by Dangote Refinery?
We are still waiting for the price to take effect.
Okay, so how long does it take to take effect?
Probably before the week runs out. It will take effect.
Have you gotten feedback so far from motorists or complaints from motorists?
No, they don't really complain. You know, normal Nigerians will ask the question, they've reduced the price, what happened? But we told them very soon.
So normally when there is a reduction in pump price like that, how long does it take to kick in?
48 hours, at times 72 hours.
Have you got any communication so far?
No. But I believe before the end of work tomorrow, it will take effect.
All right. Thank you very much. There you have it from the Assistant General Manager of a filling station here in Ojota on the reduction in the ex-depot price of PMS announced by Dangote Refinery. The information received is to take effect from Saturday. Today is Tuesday, and so far it has not reflected in pump price. Hopefully, like she mentioned to us, maybe by the end of this week, there will be a change in pump price.
We hope to see that. In the meantime, were you able to speak to motorists as well? Did they express frustration regarding the current price?
Indeed, I spoke with a few motorists, and they say, the price they've been buying it, at is still 970 naira. They are hoping as time proceeds, before the end of the week, there will be a reduction of the pump price. And they also shared with me how this is affecting them, in terms of the cost of living, and that's the pump price now. But majorly, most of them, shared with me that the pump price still remains 970 naira.
Well, Adebola, many thanks. We appreciate you for coming on. Adebola Dedugba there, our correspondent live all the way from Ojota, one of the filling stations there, just giving us a bit of a real life update on the price of petrol and whether or not the ex-depot price initiated by Dangote Refinery has been reflected. We switch gears from that now to Nigeria's northeast at Borno State, where the governor, Professor Babangana Zulum, has donated 30 million naira to the family of the late army official, and that's Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Ibishaga Alari, who lost his life in the ongoing battle against Boko Haram insurgents in the Timbuktu Triangle recently. News Central's Umaru Kirawa confirms that Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Alari and his troops of the 19 Battalion, 199 Battalion, and 149 Battalion made their heroic last stand against the Islamic State West Africa province terrorists, pushing back wave after wave of insurgents before paying the ultimate price. But Borno State's governor, Professor Zulum, while extending the state government condolences to the family of Lieutenant Colonel Alari and all others who have lost their lives fighting to restore peace in Borno State, saluted the selfless sacrifice of the armed forces.
I also want to convey my condolences to all that have lost their lives in the course of discharging their duties to their motherland. We are here to present some token donation to the family because I was told that Lieutenant Colonel Alari has no house, his personal house. He has no personal house, so that is why Borno State government will give the family the token sum of 30 million naira for them.
The Nigeria Police Force has arrested a syndicate of 8 individuals, including a female fashion designer, for gun running and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, with many of them being sold for criminal activities. The suspects, along with 2 others who were paraded for illegal possession of firearms, were arrested in Plateau State, located in the north-central region of the country. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this. Take a look.
On display are several small arms and ammunition, including one locally made pistol. 1 semi-automatic pistol, 2 rounds of 7.88 mm live ammunition, 1 AK-47 rifle, 8 fabricated AK-47 rifles, and 4 fabricated revolver guns, amongst others. These exhibits were retrieved from several suspects currently in police custody.
Arrest of gun running syndicate, stroke illegal possession of prohibited firearms. We have Joseph Thara, Victor Alipam, Habwa Yusuf, Bako Isa, Salamatu Ilya, Solomon Barale, male, Musa Arin.
The arrest of Joseph Tata, a 33-year-old suspected gun runner in Plateau State, according to the police, led to the apprehension of 4 additional suspects, including Salamatu Ilya, a 34-year-old fashion designer, from whom several arms and ammunition were recovered.
So why were you arrested?
I'm arrested because I gave Baku Isa ammunition to sell.
You gave him ammunition to sell for you?
Yes, sir.
Another suspect, a 60-year-old named Tanko from Shimaka village in Shamdam local government area of Plateau State, claimed he purchased the weapon found in his possession to protect himself and his family after being a victim of 2 separate kidnapping incidents.
He said he was kidnapped twice. That was his reason to arm himself with AK-47.
These latest arrests bring the total number of arrested armed robbery suspects to 237, 162 others for kidnapping, 240 for murder and homicide, 53 for unlawful possession of prohibited firearms. Additionally, about 130 were arrested for rape, 123 for cultism, 84 for stealing vehicles, and 387 victims of kidnapping rescue in the month of January. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
And on to Lagos, where residents of Bello Street in Ikosi Ketu are calling on the government to come to their aid after several buildings were marked for demolition and some have partially been brought down. There still have been no official word from the authorities as to why these buildings are being demolished. News Central has been following this developing story, I beg your pardon, and our correspondent Biola Festus now joins us live from Bello Street in Ikosi. Biola, many thanks for joining us. Can you give us a quick recap of the story, and has anyone from the authorities stated why these buildings are being demolished?
The current update now is that the demolition has resumed. Behind me is a bulldozer that just resumed demolition. And I think our presence here kind of scares them. So when we arrive here, they stop work. And then when we leave, they kind of resume their work. We were here earlier today and it was as though works had stopped. But we realized that upon our return, work had resumed. We saw the son of the Onikosi on ground. He had been here since yesterday monitoring the demolition, and we sought to speak with him, but he wouldn't speak with us. When we walked close to him, he said no, that we should put away our phones and every equipment and not talk with him. When we insisted that we needed to get their own part of the story, he said we have to come to the palace to speak to his father, but not today. And I wonder if that will ever happen, because we had wanted that yesterday and he still refused. Meanwhile, I have another landlord, a woman who is in her 70s and whose home was affected. She tells us her story now. Can you tell us, we were at your house earlier and we saw that your building has been demolished. Can you tell us how it happened, please?
I wasn't around yesterday, but I came and I saw my house being rooted down. So I went to Oba's house. He said that they shouldn't have done it. Either they've done it or they shouldn't have done it, they did it. So what do I do? At 70, what do you want me to do? And this is the second time.
What were you told when this happened the first time? What was your compensation?
It means that he will rebuild it, but he didn't do anything. He bought something, but I didn't see it. So, and this is the second time.
When we spoke off camera, you told us that he apologized to you. I'm talking about the Onikosi.
Yes.
You told us that he had apologized for demolishing your house some 4 years ago, that it was a mistake. How was that?
Mistake. He said it was a mistake, but this time, Uncle, I called him and he told me that he wasn't around, that he will see to it. So I don't know what he's going to see to it. I don't know. Now, the fence is being built, rooted down. The house, the new house, 4-bedroom is rooted down. In fact, yesterday, the thieves came in because nothing to guide again. Thieves came to remove my 2 generators.
How pathetic that can be. She said the Onikosi apologized that it was a mistake. What mistake can be or could be more expensive than this? We also hear other people at the sides complaining that their property have been looted as a result of these demolitions. Some are crying over their phones and other material things.
Abiola, might I ask, this is, from what the elderly lady beside you said, it means that this is the second time such an incident is happening. And so it begs to ask the question, the demolition men there that are there with this equipment, did they give any reason why? Is there any official from the Lagos state government that is there that have given you any reason for this demolition at all?
No official is speaking with us. They only said they have a court order to bring down these houses. But the houses are selected. It's not like a row or a line of houses marked. They are selectively demolishing houses. But the bailiffs were here yesterday and they said they have the authority to demolish this. And when we asked whose authority, they said there is a court order. We also asked some of the residents here, and they said the court orders they have are conflicting. Not all landlords have same court orders.
It's very interesting. Abiola there with all the way at Bello Street in Ikosi K2 following a demolition that's currently ongoing at the moment, and it seems that it's not aligned. All the houses that are demolished are specifically marked. But we'll continue to follow up on this developing story. Many thanks to you, Biola, for joining us. Biola Festus, there, our correspondent live from Lagos. We're going to a short break. You're watching News Central now, and when we come back, there's more security matters. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Back, and we go off to the east of Nigeria, where since the raid of the Ezuku Road Market in Aba by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control, there have been fears and skepticism among the indigents of Abia State over the quality of packaged foods they consume and other products they use. The governor, Alex Oti, says he will take up the fight against counterfeit products in the state with a view to sensitize the market or sanitize the market. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli completes the story.
Ezuku Market, otherwise known as Cemetery Road Market, Aba, is popular for sale of sundry groceries ranging from canned beverages to packaged snacks and other household items. However, beneath this genuine trade by majority of the traders is a deep-seated counterfeiting market where nearly every genuine product is imitated and sold to the public. The people who are unaware of this ugly situation are expressing disgust for the possibility of health issues arising from consumption of these fake products.
When they tell you to buy paracetamol, don't go and buy something that looks like para, because the effect is very strong. Even what it does to the body, all the money for the paracetamol will not cure it. It will generate to different kinds of disease.
In Umuahia, some of the respondents say it is not strange that such fakery exists even in non-edibles.
Once Nigeria is concerned, that is why you can go to Aba and buy a shoe they made in China. That is made in Aba. I have a company where I work and I do pounds, but they still put the name made in China. Why I think this in my so what is the original thing? There's nothing original in this country. Everything is fake.
Because we are in Nigeria, things are hard. So people do fake things, fake products, fake paints. Like this one I'm using now, some of them are not original. So
others say imitation of original products has become the norm.
Nigeria is full of fake items, and we don't feel good about it, especially the plastic drinks, Pepsi, Mirinda, and the rest.
They are therefore calling on the government to intervene and mete out appropriate sanctions on counterfeiters.
So they're trying their best, but to urge them to put more effort.
Governor Alex Oti, during a media chat recently, says the people can begin to do things right by registering their company and proudly branding the products.
If you can make fake products, you can also make a new one. So why don't you just move from faking to making a genuine product and calling it your own name?
Residents in Abia State are, however, urged to be vigilant, just as healthcare professionals, consumers, among others, are advised to report any suspicion of substandard and fake products to the appropriate authorities. In Umuahia for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugeli.
And on to the Northwest, where the Northwest Governors Forum has revealed that they will be prioritizing agriculture and reducing unemployment, poverty, and out of school children within their states. Now, this was after a closed-door meeting involving the governors of Jigawa, Kaduna, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states, which was held in Abuja, where they discussed challenges affecting their region. They also say that they will be collaborating with development partners, including the United Nations and the African Development Bank, on initiatives aimed at fostering development in the states of the Northwest.
And the whole of us have agreed to work together in areas of economic development, how to develop agriculture, how to address issues bordering about out-of-school children, how to address poverty level in the zone, and also how to create employment for our teeming youth. So these are the focus of the administration of various states in the Northwest, and together, if we cooperate, we are going to achieve that holistically.
Heavy fighting in southern and western Sudan has left at least 65 people dead and over 130 wounded as the war between the Sudanese army and paramilitary forces continues to escalate. Medical sources report that 40 people were killed and 70 others injured in itinerary fire in Kadugli, the capital of South Kordofan state. The Sudanese army-controlled city was also targeted in an attack blamed on a faction of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement North, led by Abdel Aziz al-Hilu. The SPLM-N faction, which has a stronghold in South Kordofan, has engaged in clashes with both the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, further complicating the already violent or volatile situation. Sudan has been engulfed in war since April of 2023, with the conflict intensifying in recent weeks, leaving thousands dead and worsening the humanitarian crisis. Meanwhile, in neighboring South Sudan, at least 41 people have been killed in an attack on a cattle herders' camp in South Sudan, a local official confirmed on Monday. According to Ankok Gordon Cole, head of the Boer community, the assault occurred early Friday morning in Inyanlo village, which is located in eastern Equatorial State. Among the victims were women and children, with 65 others wounded and several people still missing. Violent clashes between pastoralist and settled farming communities are common in the region, often fueled by disputes over land, water, and cattle. The UN mission in South Sudan has expressed grave concern over the rising tensions, warning that the violence could further destabilize the world's youngest nation. Authorities are calling for urgent measures to prevent further bloodshed. So on unrest now to the Democratic Republic of Congo, as its President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's President Paul Kagame are set to attend a two-day joint summit of Eastern and Southern African nations on Saturday as the conflict in Eastern DRC intensifies. The summit comes as M23 rebels and Rwandan forces continue their rapid advance, capturing the key city of Goma last week and threatening to push toward Kinshasa, with tensions escalating. Now, the president of DRC has vowed a strong military response and called on the international community to sanction Rwanda of its alleged support for the rebels. The lightning offense marks the latest escalation in a region long plagued by violence as armed groups fight for control over valuable mineral resources. The fall of Goma has worsened the humanitarian crisis, with deadly clashes and mass displacements adding to the suffering. Meanwhile, the Rwandan-backed M23 rebel group has announced a humanitarian ceasefire in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo set to take effect on Tuesday. The move comes just days before a planned crisis meeting between Congolese president and the Rwandan president. A statement from the Alliance for Congo, which is the River Congo Alliance, a political military coalition that includes M23, confirmed the ceasefire, citing humanitarian reasons. Despite recent threats to continue its advance towards Kinshasa, the group now insists it has no intention of seizing Bukavu or other cities. While fighting has eased in Goma, clashes have spread to South Kivu province, sparking concerns of an M23 push towards Bukavu. In the meantime, members of the Congolese community have taken to the streets, marching to the embassy of the European Union in Pretoria in demonstration protesting the ongoing violence in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The war, which has caused thousands of deaths and displaced countless families, has drawn the ire of many within the community, particularly towards the involvement of Rwanda. According to the organizers of this match, not only does it raise awareness of their plight, but also it serves as a powerful call for peace and solidarity. The Congolese community is also voicing their gratitude to the Southern African Development Community, or the SADC, for their continued efforts in aiding the affected regions.
We need peace, right? If they want peace, they have to come through the door to do the right things, right? We cannot continue dying every single day. Our family are dying. Most of the people there in the east of Congo are dying. So we don't want that anymore. We need peace. We need to install peace. That's the reason why we are here.
Africa leaders, where are you? Where are you? Have mercy on us. Come. You are come and join SADC so that we can get peace. The only way to get a peace is to take out Kagame where he is. That will be a solution. African leaders, we are dying. Have mercy on us. Come and join together.
I would just like to send a short message to the European Union that they must stop supporting Kagame. They must stop supporting Rwanda. They must stop continue that contract they be signing with Rwanda to take a mineral from Congo. That is the source of this conflict. And this conflict, it can't end in.
We want to tell our brother Nanga, he's a very selfish person because he can't sell your country because of other people. People, they are dying. People, children, they are dying. Men, they are dying. How can you do that? We are saying thank you to South Africa. Thank you to the people who die in our country, in our behavior. We are saying thank you.
In a bold move, the U.S. has struck a new trade deal with Canada and Mexico while simultaneously slamming new tariffs on China. The deal aimed at boosting North America trade, focusing on reducing barriers and fostering cooperation in key industries. However, the U.S. administration has also imposed increased tariffs on Chinese goods, escalating tensions in the ongoing trade war. The tariffs is expected to affect a wide range of products, from electronics to machinery. with critics arguing that they could raise costs for American consumers and businesses. The global economic landscape braces for further fallout from these escalating trade moves.
Él hizo varias propuestas y finalmente pues llegamos al acuerdo que está en el acuerdo que se puso de poder poner más guardias nacionales en la frontera norte para proteger la frontera y evitar el tráfico de drogas y en particular el tráfico de fentanilo de México hacia Estados Unidos. Le planteé siempre que queríamos que pusiera en pausa las tarifas desde el primer momento, los aranceles. Entonces, en este caso llegamos a ese acuerdo, pero también le expliqué pues la gravedad de la cantidad de armas de alto poder que entran desde Estados Unidos a México y que estas armas de alto poder que llegan de manera ilegal pues arman a los grupos delictivos y que pues le dan poder de fuego.
For more on this, I'm joined by international correspondent Javier again. Javier, just tell us, what's the latest on Trump's ignited trade war with Mexico, China, and Canada? More sanctions on China.
Yes, well, this time yesterday, we were talking about those potential 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. Now, thanks to a couple of 11th-hour phone calls last night between President Donald Trump and Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, and between Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, those 25% tariffs on those countries have been given a reprieve of 30 days. Now, in exchange, President Trump got 10,000 extra troops from Mexico at their border. And also, Justin Trudeau said he was going to appoint a czar to look into the flow of drugs into America from Canada. Even though it's a very small amount of fentanyl that comes into America from Canada, actually, most of it comes from Mexico. So who won there, we're not entirely sure. But like I say, it's a 30-day reprieve for both of those countries. However, the 10% tariff on goods from China came into force at midnight, and that has come into play.
And how has China reacted to the 10% tariffs that were imposed today?
Well, China hasn't taken this lying down, so they have introduced tariffs on U.S. goods. So a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas. There's a 10% tax on crude oil, agricultural machinery, pickup trucks, and large engine cars. They announced an anti-monopoly investigation into Google. They've also placed export controls on 25 types of rare metal products. And they've added PVH Corp, that's a holding company of Calvin Klein and other brands, and U.S. biotechnology company, Illumia, to its unreliable entities list. Now, it is key to note that these tariffs against the United States don't come into play until the 10th of February. And it's also key to note that President Trump does have a phone call with Xi Jinping later on today. So they have taken some action, but done it with a kind of listening ear, as it were, as in, this is what we intend to do because of what you have done, but there is room for discussion and there is room for negotiation, which could possibly take place over the next 24 hours. Remember, it's a busy day for President Donald Trump, as it seems to be every day since his inauguration. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, is in the United States, is in Washington, D.C., for talks with Donald Trump today as well. So we expect that phone call with Xi Jinping to take place, the Chinese premier, to take place today also. So perhaps tariffs on both sides may be averted. Maybe averted, definitely, maybe given that 30-day reprieve.
And which countries could be next on Trump's tariff hit list?
Honestly, I don't know. Anyone and everyone. It seems to be a rather scattergun approach when it comes to President Donald Trump's second presidency. There's a lot of things happening. Now, we know that the EU definitely is under the spotlight when it comes to tariffs, and Trump has actually said pretty definitively that those tariffs will come into play. And now Ursula von der Leyen said that the European Union will always protect its own interests. after that comment about tariffs, about the European Union. She is the president of the European Commission, and she added that the EU will be ready for tough negotiations with the US when needed and hopes to find solutions where possible. The UK could also be under the spotlight for tariffs. Trump said that in the past 48 hours as well, but also said that he thinks that that can be sorted out with UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. There could be any other country under the firing line as well. You know, India, Ukraine, absolutely anyone. But like we said, this is all about Trump using tariffs as a threat to pretty much get what he wants.
Well, only time will tell what the meeting between himself and Netanyahu would look like at the end of today. But Afia, I trust you bring us all the update. Afia Hagen, our international correspondent, just giving us a bit of insight with the ignited trade wars with Donald Trump. South African petrochemical company Sasol, mining group Anglo American, and its diamond subsidiary De Beers have entered into a joint development agreement to pilot renewable diesel production from vegetable oil. Signed at the African Mining in Tadaba in Cape Town, the partnership will evaluate the technical and commercial visibility of growing feedstock for renewable diesel production. De Beers will provide over 20 hectares of land for growing crops like Solaris and Moringa plants. Sasol executives noted that pre-visibility studies are complete and production trials have already started with the resulting diesel to be used in De Beers operations. The initiative aims to contribute to decarbonization efforts as renewable diesel significantly reduces greenhouse gas emissions while meeting conventional diesel standards. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho has been signed on loan by Championship side Middlesbrough until the end of the season. The 28-year-old attacker joined Middlesbrough after a tough start to life in Sevilla since moving to the club in August 2024. Iheanacho made only 11 appearances for the Spanish club and scored 3 goals. Iheanacho returns to England, where he first broke out as an 18-year-old wonder kid for Manchester City, where he won the League Cup before joining Manchester in 2017. The club he's joining are currently 7th in the English Second Division as the club chase promotion to the top flight. Borough have 44 points in 29 matches and just 1 outside the playoff places. English-born Nigerian footballer Jordan Chidozie is in a coma after being hit by a car in the UK. A 30-year-old who plays for non-league Bashley FC had just finished a match against Tavistock over the weekend. On the way back, he and Bashley physio, which is Reggae Taylor, experienced a flat tire. While attempting to assess the situation, Chidozie was struck by a vehicle, suffering life-changing and potentially life-threatening injuries. Bashley FC expressed devastation over the incident, confirming Chidozie was taken to Southampton Hospital with multiple broken bones and other injuries. The club added that he remained in a controlled coma while receiving treatment. We hope for speedy recovery for him, and that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. NLC has suspended planned nationwide protests over telecom tariff hike. The Nigerian police have arrested fashion designer for gun running. And we also told you that amid escalations in DR Congo, the president of DR Congo and Rwanda's president is set to attend regional summit.